Okay, welcome to Academic Dodges class. Good number of times you hear students talking about almighty formula, but there's nothing like almighty formula. What we have is formula method. Only God is almighty. So for that reason, we have to prove it. So to derive this, we remember that there is a standard form for quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. And I normally tell my students that it's not every time formula factorization method work. So the best method to use and solve any quadratic equation is completing the square method, because it's completing the square method that give you this quadratic equation, which you call the formula method. So to do this, we know that there's a principle which says that the highest power here, quadratic equation has the highest power of 2. So before this highest power, the coefficient must be unity. Unity simply means it must have 1 as its coefficient. Notice here that is a. So we divide everything here by a so that we can get rid of that. So this will cancel this. So now the coefficient of x, there's an invisible one here because anything times 1 is that thing. So the coefficient of x squared, which is the highest power now, is now unity. So bx over a plus c over a, anything divided by anything, 0 divided by anything is 0. So we've been able to do this. So the next thing we need to do now is to take the constant term to the right hand side. So I don't like all these ones. They will say subtract the from both sides. No, you just remember in secondary school that once we have this kind of thing, we say cross equality sign, it will have negative. So it will now be x squared plus bx over a equals to crossing equality sign becomes minus c over a. Thank you. Don't mention. Now see, if I have this, notice that this is a fraction, rational number, and anything standing on its own is a rational number. That is over 1, provided the denominator is not 0, is a rational number. So c over 1, I can use LCM. What is the common factor here? A, that's the denominator. A into this is a, times this, it becomes ax squared. And notice that if I do it again, I'm taking this back to what it was. That is why I like to try everything. It's not like maybe we are storing knowledge or trying to work with what is already established. So that is why we did not go back to this method. I will not go back to taking LCM. Rather, what I will now employ at this point is to now say the second step, or the basic step. The basic step is at this point that you've taken this to this point that you now apply the basic step, or you say which is the completing the square method step, the step of completing the square. We say take half of coefficient of x, take half of the square, yes, of the square of coefficient of x and add to both sides. So what it means is that coefficient of x here, this is x squared. Coefficient of x, this is the one that is x. Coefficient of x here is b over a. B over a is the coefficient of x here. They say we should take the half. So this is the same thing as saying times half. See what I mean? Half of 4 is the same thing as saying 4 times 1 over 2. So if I know that half of b over a is the same thing as saying b times 1 is b over 2a. So they said that we should get the half of the coefficient of x, which we've gotten. This is the coefficient. Then we should get the square. So once we get the half, we'll square it. So take half of the square of coefficient of x and add to both sides. Or you say add half of the square of the coefficient of x. So you say add square of half of the coefficient of x to both sides. Whichever way you want to speak the English, no problem. But what matters is that you must take the half the way I've done it, times it by 1 over 2, you now square. In most cases, I see people when they are doing this thing, they start doing solving. Don't ever do that. Just times it by the half, leave it in fraction, carry it and bring to both sides. So I will now rewrite this to become x squared plus bx over a, add it to both sides. So I have b over 2a all squared equals to minus c over a plus b over 2a all squared. So notice that at this junction, once you do this, the goal of every quadratic equation, even when you are doing factorization, is always to eliminate the middle term. Always to eliminate the middle term. Notice that even when we treated this, when we solve this quadratic equation, the middle term is the one that is having x. So we try to eliminate it by putting something that will take its place. So the same thing is what you're applying here. Notice that inside this, we already have this. Some textbook will tell you factor out, but I will simply tell you, always once you're able to do this, add to both sides, always take what you have here and what you have here. They're the ones carrying square, and just do it this way. You now have x plus b over 2a all squared is equals to, notice this side, I have, this is going to be the same thing as saying minus c over a plus b square over 2 square is 4, then a square. Okay, so at this point, the left hand side, the right hand side, sorry, I can choose to simplify it further. So what is the common LCM here? What is common here? Let's do it. Let's see. I have 4a square, I have a. So if a go here, this will become 1. This will become 1. Then this will now become 4a. If a go here again, this will become 4. This will become 1. Then if 4 go here, this will become 4. We could become 1, become 1. So you see that this is the same thing as saying 4a square. So that if a go here, you have 4a, that is, yes, 4a, then times the minus 4ac. Then if you go here, you just have plus b square is equals to is equals to, so we now have this one now. We have x plus b over 2a all square. One thing about knowledge or understanding certain things like this is that with experience, you understand that there is a particular way they want you to go whenever you are treating these things. So somebody will want to ask me, how come you did not do this one? All those kind of things. But you don't have to rush and do it. So we have to make sure that we eliminate this square because we are trying to get x to be the subject formula here. So we are treating it in a special way for x to be out and stand on its own. So we say take the square root of both sides. So taking the square root of both sides, I will now have that. Or you say, I don't want to start doing all those things that you see most textbooks doing. They start doing, I'll just say if square cross equality sign, it changes to square roots. So it will become square roots. And I have minus 4ac plus b square all over 4a square. And notice that, okay, let's just leave it at this. The minute you introduce square root, it will come with plus or minus. So equals to x plus b over 2a. All right. So I can now say, making x subject of the formula. Making x subject of the formula. This will now become the same thing as saying x equals to b over 2a plus or minus. And notice that as it's crossing equality sign, it will carry minus. Then root minus 4ac plus b square all over 4a square. Okay, let's see if there's anything we can do to break this down. Remember what we have, see what we have. We have x equals to minus b over 2a plus or minus roots minus 4ac plus b square all over 4a square. Okay, now we know that this is the same thing as saying root b square minus 4ac all over root 4a square. Taking the squares of this, you will definitely get, first of all, a square, a 4 times a. 4 times a is the same thing as saying root 4 times root a square. Should we see it? This can take care of this. And this one will become 2. So it becomes 2a down here. Are you seeing it? If you do root 4 times root a square, it becomes root 4a square. So and this square can take care of this. So I have 2a down. Now up here I have b square. Then I have minus 4ac. So we can choose to simplify this thing further if we want, so that it becomes, okay, because of the minus separating them, that's why I'm leaving it, because there's minus, and this minus is affecting this, and it's also affecting this. So I can have this to be the same thing as saying, the reason I simplified this one further, I was able to simplify this one further, is because multiplication is what is separating them. So I have root b square minus 4ac all over 2a plus or minus b over 2a. Okay, and it's all equals to x, if you remember. So notice that this is 2a, this is 2a. What will be the LCM here? Let's check. 2a, a here 2 2 here 1. So it's 2a, that is the LCM, 2a. So since they are the same, I have minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac. X is equals to. So there you have it, Bagam. So this is your formula for quadratic equation, and this formula is what you call the formula method. So you derive it from quadratic equation from completing the square method. So the most correct method of solving anything quadratic equation is completing the square method, because that's how you go about getting even the formula you have. So take your time, do this always as I've done it, and you'll always be correct. And please remember to subscribe, like, and share.